Today I'm going to show you a lot of the little shortcuts that are built into NaviGator to make it easier for you to move around, find things, and do what you need to do. On the Welcome switchboard, this is the list of recent diet changes. You can double click any of these and it will open that diet. So that's a quick way to get to diets you've recently done something with. On this screen, any drop-down menu will, if you double click it, will take you to where you can edit the items in that list. So for taxa, you double click and you get to your list of taxa. If you import from Zims, then this will be generated by Zims. But you can always go to the very last row and you can add a new species if you need to, maybe one that doesn't exist in your collection yet. You can add that. If you close that, if you double click on Prep By, you'll get a list of all your prep stations or prep books. If you double click on Delivery Location, you'll open up to this Organize Locations from the settings where you can set up parks, departments, and of course, delivery locations. If you double click on Group Diets, you'll get a list of all your group diets. Any that have italics and gray do not have any diets assigned to that group. So those are sort of empty groups. You can double click on foods to get to that food and its nutrient analysis, make it active or inactive, any other things that you want to do about that food. Units, if you double click on the units, you'll get to the edit units. And prep location, just like up here, this is your prep book or your prep location, and you can edit them there. Same down here for your bin setup. If you double click, you'll get to the list of all your pre-populated drop-down menu bins. If you double click on prep notes, it'll open it up into a big text thing that's a lot easier to read. You can change the font. I like to make it nice and big, so I've got it set to bold 28, and that helps if you want to type a longer note. And same here, you can type a longer history note if you want. Once you change the font, it should stay that way permanently. And if you double click here, you get to the advanced search. In the navigate button, you can just directly type the diet. So you can just type a diet number if you know the diet number. If you refer to diets or ask teams to refer to diets by their number, it's a lot easier to navigate directly to the exact diet you're talking about. That even works for groups. You can type in the number of a group and it'll take you to a member of that group. And if it's a numeric animal ID that your institution uses and not a text-based, you can type that directly into here and it'll search for that. One other thing that's only available via shortcut is if you go to Animals and Enclosures and you go to the drop-down where you would normally pick an animal, if you double-click on that, you'll get to this Animal Details screen. This is only available by double-clicking an animal in that list. This is some basic details about the animal. If you are a Zims user, if you make any changes here, it'll be overwritten the next time you sync with Zims, so don't make any permanent changes here. But here you can see that Delton has his own diet, and he's also in an enclosure with these other diets. So as you click and unclick these, this box down here will populate with the different diets. So you can print just the selected diets. It'll print one PDF with all of the diets you have selected. You could also analyze the listed diets for this animal. So if Delton is part of 5 different diets, maybe he's part of his own diet, maybe he's part of a rhinoceros enrichment diet, and maybe he's part of a medication diet. You can select all of those diets and it'll take one Delton's worth, one animal's worth of food. If you click here, it'll do the analyze diet thing. Or you can analyze the list of diets for all the animals. So if you want to get the whole group, like Delton and all the other rhinos he's in with, you can analyze the listed diets for all the animals who you select here. You can double click on the alligator to come back to the switchboard. On the touch screen, there's a lot of things like that. If you're on the armadillo's diet and you double click the logo, you'll go right to the armadillo's diet. If you double click on the picture, you'll get a list of all the animals on the diet. In this case, it's just one, but let me find, here's a group. You can see you get both of their names, their date of birth, and their age. If you jump to different areas down here, you can go to Africa hoofstock, but you can also double click and you'll get a list of all of the diets. And then you can double click to jump to that specific diet. If you like to mark off that you've completed diets, you can click the number here and you can see which diets you've done. Maybe if you jump around a little bit, this helps you. This will last until you refresh the data or close and reopen the touchscreen. Then this will refresh itself. But now when you go to this, you'll see that you've done these diets. So it's one way to kind of check off which diets you've done. From every window, you can click the help and it'll take you directly to the documentation. All of the settings I showed you are also available in the settings, where you can set up your zoo areas, your prep locations, or your prep books, your containers, species, animals. All of these are also available from here, but it's nice that you can quickly get to them right from here, right from where you might be looking for them.